Game, record, and stream without compromise. Only on Intel Core i7.
A warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 2 here of the VR League for Echo Arena. We are at the Invitational as 8 of our teams from across the world, North America and Europe, have been able to battle it out and whittle it down to just the 4 teams that remain today. We're in the lower bracket as well as the upper bracket here, finding out who is going to take away the lion's share of the $12,000 on the line. Welcome to the analysis desk. My name's Kyle Laris. I'm going to be your host throughout the day, or even the evening, depending on where you are, of course. And to my left-hand side, I have Jason Kaplan, and I have Blue, not wearing a blue shirt. That's weird. Why are you not wearing a blue shirt?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I left it back at the base in Germany, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fine, that's fine. But overall, yesterday we had an awesome day of games. Very cool day of games, in fact, and we even ended off with an amazing series. But overall, what really stood out for you yesterday, obviously all of these teams really come in to bring the heat.
Yeah, I think what stood out for me, of course, is we still have the sorry about that.
No, go, man. You got it.
We still have the...
I love to hear you talk.
The Titan, I guess you could say, Eclipse, is still proven to be #1 as far as we've seen so far. But there are some challengers pushing their way forward, most notably 11.5. We're, of course, going to see that come to a boil today as they face off.
I actually really enjoyed a couple of individual plays that we got to see yesterday. I enjoyed the man on your screen just going Super Saiyan 7. It's actually not blue, it's Super Saiyan Simeon. And just seeing the energy behind a lot of the players, because obviously when we get to cast online, we don't get to see the emotions that go along with it behind the screens. And then we also got to see a lot of team plays that are kind of defining the style of each of these teams. Especially when we saw Blast, with the way and how fast this team can move up and down the arena in its entirety. They've really been, I'd say, unmatched in that kind of speed out of any of the teams we've seen so far today. But then again, we haven't really seen one team push to the brink like we did see Blast push yesterday.
Right.
Which we might get to see tonight.
Yeah, it really shone through, especially since there, as well, is so many different ways you can play this game. I think all of our North American representatives and our European representatives know that the other region plays very differently to how they do. So it's great, Blue, to be able to get to see this kind of clash of styles between these two regions.
Yeah, and it's great as well that we've even seen teams talking about, okay, we're going to try to change this up a little bit. I think the most notable one was Gravity, who was saying we wanted to go for a little bit more of a hybrid style. A great moment right there.
Love it.
We wanted to go for a little bit more of a hybrid style, so it's cool seeing some of these teams from the opposite regions kind of experiment with the play style of their opposite region as well, as we saw most notably in the case of Gravity.
And what's kind of nice about it is if you think about the long run, like what this is all leading up to with the Oculus Connect coming up in September, we get to have these regions kind of intermingle and kind of learn from each other and take that style or take the information home, make it into a new style, and then clash again in the next month potentially, and then clash again in September. So it's really going to see maybe a push to the skill ceiling that's going on at the moment.
Some of my favorite styles that we saw from yesterday were really kind of heavier emphasis on that brawler style with stunning out people. Once you've got that kind of clear off and you boost a few people forwards, try and disrupt the enemy lines, etc., and then from there able to try and take the victory. Here is the bracket as it stands. 11.5 and Eclipse in the upper bracket are in the upper bracket final. One of these teams will guarantee themselves a top 2 spot in our first match of the day, and that will propel them on to have an advantage as well, because it's a double elimination bracket. And we can take a look at the lower bracket as well, as Aftershock and Blast are there standing strong still. They only have 1 life left. But guys, Blast versus Gravity was a stunner of a match. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, if you guys didn't see that match, you definitely need to go back and watch it. Just the fact that I don't want to spoil it, but I kind of want to spoil it, you know?
I mean, it's happened, so go.
The fact that we saw Gravity come back from such a large deficit in that second round was insane. Like, it should never have happened. Like, that's once in, like, a blue moon kind of story.
It was a little bit unfortunate we didn't get to see them go all the way to be able to take the actual game, but they still, it was a really cool reigniting moment for them, because prior to that, it was a very one-sided affair for their opponents, especially throughout the course of the first round. But as soon as we got into that third round as well, the momentum carried through for Gravity, going all the way forward and keeping it neck and neck until the very end. Unfortunately, they weren't able to push themselves forward and got eliminated there, but they really put on a show.
And the big thing is that victory for Blast actually put them in the money. It put them into that point where you can actually make money off this event now.
And obviously, you're referring to that second round, the first overtime that we had in the tournament, which was delightful to watch because we heard all the teams downstairs cheering their hearts out to see if Gravity could actually make that comeback, and they did in that game, of course. But regardless, let's take a look at the format for today, just to make sure that you guys are up to date and up to speed with what is going down. Everything is best of 5s with that 5-minute time limit, of course, there, and everybody's going to try and score as many points as possible, be it 2-pointers or 3-pointers, depending on if you're in the bubble. And then beyond that, of course, in the grand final for the team coming from the upper bracket, they have a best of 3 in hand. So the team coming from the lower bracket has to win 2 best of 3s compared to the team coming from the upper bracket, all importantly. Let's take a look at the prize pool as well, because there's no small chunk of change on the line. It's $12,000 in total. Again, some quick maths on Excited to add up 3 and 4th. Not difficult. And then from there, first place, $6,000. You can get a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards for that.
You can buy, you can actually get with that $6,000. You can buy a lot of Warhammer models with that.
You could,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. That's my tipple of choice. There you go. Anyway.
To be fair to you, when you'd say, oh, just quick math, it's simple. When we were doing it yesterday, I was actually amazed that you did that so quick. You said 12,000. I'm like, wait, how did you get 12? Carry the 7. Oh, yeah, you're right. Holy crap.
Let's be honest, it's because I wear glasses. Anyway, let's take a look, of course, moving forwards here, because we are also supporting the Special Olympics, and you can too. You can get involved by following the instructions down below here during the VR League as it goes on. The Special Olympics obviously does a lot of good for a lot of people around the world. Let's hear from them and what they do.
Special Olympics and Oculus are teaming up to help athletes go where they've never been before. Whether it's the first lap of their first race or a journey to the end of the galaxy, we believe that anyone, anywhere, can defy the limits of their own reality.
Phenomenal to see them bringing great times to great people around the world. And another great thing that we have here for the VR League is, of course, Echo Arena, the games that we're going to be going into. Guys, I want you to break things down for maybe some of our newer viewers out there. How does Echo Arena play out? What are the nuances? What are we looking out for?
Yeah, so looking at Echo Arena, it's basically just a combination of multiple sports and a lot of what we've seen there. Of course, putting it into this really cool sci-fi setting where we have 3 robots on either team fighting each other. They're able to punch each other to stun them. But of course, the main objective is this disc that spawns in the middle and that you're going to be seeing these players take. And of course, the ultimate objective being to score it in your opponent's goal. Multiple ways to score it, multiple variations in the points you can get based on the distance of which you score the disc. It's a very fun game and a very cool game to show people for VR in the first time.
As we did mention yesterday, it's a very easy game to get into. A lot of simple mechanics, but these mechanics then transcend to be very hard to master if you want to play at the higher levels. Even talking with like the guys from Eclipse, probably one of the best teams and the reigning champions of everything here. Yeah. They were saying that they only consider themselves amateurs actually because they barely practice at the moment, and they know that there's still so much left to learn and so much left to become an expert on to be the best team in the world.
Up for speculation, but is Echo Arena based in a post-apocalyptic world where humans are deceased and robots are reveling in our demise?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's take a look at the schedule for all the games that are going to be going down, as we will have 4 series today. There is the potential for a 5th series as well if we need it. We're going to be starting things in the upper bracket and then moving down to the lower bracket, and of course concluding with the grand finals. On our first match will be quite the fixture indeed. It's what everybody's been looking forward to here during the last day, of course. 11.5 is going to go up against Eclipse, and these two teams looked really strong, especially Eclipse, of course, that we really touted as basically the best team in the world. Is that fair to say at the moment in terms of post-pass results coming into this tournament?
It's very fair to say, and even
I was just going to say yes.
That's great.
It's very fair to say, and from what I've been hearing as well, 11.5, they were playing in scrims versus Eclipse a little bit earlier today, and it was still looking like Eclipse had a pretty decent advantage going over 11.5. So for me, they're still very much the favorite going into this upper bracket final match. If 11.5 can take it, though, it's going to be a massive advantage for them to be able to go into the grand finals with that best-of-3 series advantage, because more than likely, they will end up needing it to take down Eclipse, especially if it goes the distance to do best-of-3s.
Let me just give you the scores, because we can't unfortunately see those at the moment, between Eclipse and the matches they played yesterday. Eclipse versus Boost, 16-2, 15-7. Eclipse versus Metamercs, 20-4, 7-2.
Brutal.
They've been really unchallenged, and I think they have yet to really show their true form. But the team here, 11.5, like this is like the only team you've been able to see to really challenge out against Eclipse, but they've got a massive challenge at hand here, Blue. I mean, Dash, he's been coined as one of the best defenders in the game. Personally, I don't think we saw it yesterday. We saw so many times that the goal was, or the disc was able to be thrown over his head, but he has that name for a reason. He said it in, he says it multiple times throughout the day, and I want to see him rise to that occasion.
He even was talking about it yesterday as well, just about how the pressure was kind of on for him and that was making him a little bit nervous. Hopefully he's been able to get over that a little bit and we'll see a little bit better blocking power from him, because unfortunately there was quite a few missed opportunities that he could have stopped goals going out against him yesterday when they were playing. But still, they've managed to make it this far. They still managed to come out on top, but obviously against Eclipse, those kinds of mistakes are not going to be as forgivable, sadly.
Well, gents, let's hear from 11.5 coming into the final day of the tournament.
I've always been a gamer, and I guess VR just seemed like a natural extension, the next thing to go to. Echo Arena was just something I tried. It was free, but it turned out to be the best game on the platform for me. I'd like to see VR be a much bigger deal in esports, because I think it can be a big deal, especially with games like Echo Arena that are more sports-like and very physical to do. I think it's a good spectator sport.
Our chemistry has improved greatly, really it has, and we're starting to think on the same page. We're starting to flow together nicely. And it's just going to take a bit more time before we really get satisfied with our performance.
I think our team works really well together. Loveridge and I are both very good strikers. We make long shots very effectively. And then Dash is the best goalie in the game by far. And I think our communication is very effective.
Some people have regarded me as a very good goalie. And I'm just hoping I can live up to that expectation, because even online, it's a lot of pressure. It's just like the last line of defense. And all that rides on my shoulders. I just think we have a good shot at first. If we play our game, we play our pace, we're not like letting the nerves get to us.
Yeah, winning would feel great. I think this tournament doesn't have a major impact on the season as a whole, but it would show everyone that we definitely are one of the contenders, and the cash prize doesn't hurt.
The second seed coming out of North America here in 11.5, and one of the standout performances for me from them yesterday was when they went up against Blast and were able to take them in that 2-1 victory.
I also saw some great individual play as well. I mean, I talked about Dash being the goalie for the team, but Wit had a fantastic save being thrown practically across the entire arena to catch it in the last second to save them. They all have really good potential, I think, Blue. Like, they're a really strong team, as you heard them say, that they're still working on their chemistry and still working on synergizing well. But this is probably like one of the best teams for them to play and prove that they've been able to do just that. Yeah,
and of course they've had a pretty quick rise as well with the start of the second season of the VR League. They kind of show up relatively quickly and have immediately started to challenge even teams like Eclipse. They're going to have to get past it though, because on the individual perspective, Eclipse are still a very strong team. Even looking specifically at players like Simeon, who really went off yesterday. We saw it towards the end of the game. There was actually a little bit of a story behind that post-game celebration that I got told about. It was basically there was a little bit of trash talk when they were playing their match yesterday, and it was kind of like a deserved thing when they beat them because their opponents were feeling a little bit cocky about the fact that they could take them down, and that obviously proved not to be the case.
Well, let's hear from them. The #1 seeds coming into the tournament from North America, it's Eclipse.
Drew me to VR in general is I've kind of been getting tired of traditional video games. Something comes out, I feel like I've played it before, so trying VR was an opportunity to do something really new. The movement just got me immediately. The zero-G, the tactile feel, it's such a visceral game, and I just haven't looked back.
In a fast-paced game like Echo Arena, staying ahead of opposition basically comes down to complete communication and trust within your teammates.
I think more than any other game, Echo Arena is really reliant on that communication. You've just got to be shouting stuff 24/7. It can get really intense, but as long as your teammates have your back, you'll be okay.
I don't think there'll be too much extra pressure. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit when you're doing an offline event, with the crowd factor and the fact that you're just not at the comfort of your home, which you're used to.
I feel really confident about facing any of the North American teams. I feel like we do really well against all of them. I think that as far as the Europeans go, we're just going to make sure we keep up our communication, try and break up any of their boosts so that they're not able to get across the court really quickly, and just make sure that we play comfortable, play our game, and I think we'll be all right. I would, without hesitation, say that Palador is the strongest member of our team. He's the glue that holds everything together. He's the most consistent passer. He's our QB, and he's always seeing different parts of the field.
I do believe we can take home the first place position at this event. We've done well in Season 1. Then Season 2 so far, we've taken first place every week during the Sunday tournaments. So as long as we keep doing what we do and keep our heads, I think we're in a good spot to take home the first place title this year.
And that is Eclipse. After all of the dominant performances throughout the tournament so far, can they keep up the momentum? And I think something that really does fuel them a lot is kind of the energy that someone like Simeon does provide. We saw it a lot yesterday. Of course, you know, Blue, you were mentioning that, you know, there was that small trash talk moment, but there's no reason he can't carry that kind of boost that they do have, quite literally, into the game.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, once again, they're coming into this one as the team to win as well, so they want to keep that reputation strong. Definitely don't want to be getting shut down here at the upper bracket finals and have to kind of battle their way back into their match. Because that's going to do two things as well, is it's also going to be just an additional match that one of these teams will have to play, which could serve to kind of wear them out a little bit more, considering they're going to have to go right into the grand finals after that. So that's another advantage that's gained just by taking control of this match as well.
You pointed something out there too, Blue, that I actually really liked to discuss, is that we talked about, or you mentioned that like they're the top dogs, right? And we sometimes forget, you know, when we see matchups, we're like, oh, well, you know, the pressure's on the other team because, you know, the other team's going to be the underdog in this. But we also forget that the fact is, with them being the top dog, everyone's gunning for them. Everyone's looking to take them down. Everyone's looking to review their information they can get from their demos, or, you know, obviously from watching the streams and such, and from the times they played them. So everyone's gunning for them. They got a bullseye on their back, and every team wants to take that crown away from them. So that pressure also put on their shoulders really makes it hard for them to continue to defend that title, you know, time in and time out.
No, absolutely. When you see things in normal esports, it seems like there are always times when the top dogs are the most documented people. You look to them to try and take away their crown. As we get into it, the upper bracket final here between Eclipse and 11.5 to go to the grand final.
All right, let's get directly into it. The joust has already begun. It's going to be a little bit of a clash, but for now, the disc goes over to 11.5 side of the arena, meaning they're on defense. They don't have anyone in to stop this, however. Simeon already, or excuse me, Wit is going to be able to move in, and that will be... Oh, that's an own goal then, apparently. I thought it was Simeon that scored it, but it must have bounced off of Wit then. But still, it's points for the guys on Eclipse.
Well, we did get to talk to them, actually, in the hotel before we got here. And we were talking about how, you know, Season 1, what happens with the joust. And they said, yeah, you know, the first season, everything, the joust was standard, right? You didn't get to spawn on your side, or the disc didn't spawn in on your side of the arena. And they said they just beat everyone because they were way better than everyone when it came to the joust. And when you score those first 2 points, I think it was Lemming saying you get such an advantage. Even now, even with them getting the spawn of the disc, because now the pressure's on them. You get to play your own style, you know, quick and fast pace if you can. Nice little block there comes in. I think the disc decently deep. But Simon's going to get the clear, and look at this. Wide open. Number 13's going to go back. That's going to be Palador to help defend, maybe try to get back in towards that goal and look for a pass in. Lemming coming in.
It's going to be a 2-on-1, though. This is going to be difficult to stop. But no, he gets support just in time on 11.5, so they're able to clear this. Got nice juke from Lemming, though. Gets right into the open, right next to the goal. Sinks another 2 points already here for Eclipse with a 4-0 lead.
I will say this, though. If Eclipse do walk over 11.5, if 11.5 can get back into the grand finals, I would not say that it would be the exact same kind of scoreline. I think 11.5 are a good team in learning what they're doing wrong and doing right. And I think we're going to see them adapt as the series goes on. And ideally, if they get back here, if they do lose, to be able to challenge out against Eclipse.
So here comes the launch once again. Will also be 11.5 starting off with possession, but we know how quickly Eclipse can launch the other side. Nicely done by Loveridge, though. Immediately stops Lemming as he tries to interrupt the pass. But no, it's still going to be done. It's Palador that instead is able to successfully stop it. Now pass back over to Simeon as the Eclipse guys are going to make another run for a quick 2-pointer here, more than likely.
Looks like that pass will not connect with Lemming, though, unfortunately. But the disc is going to be picked up by Wit. Looking to go in for the score and actually hits the force. So coming in from the low-hand side, gets actually punched, but he misses the shot. That was a 3-pointer that most certainly should have gone in. Now 11.5 are going to be looking to lick their wounds and maybe get this disc again.
Dash gets the pickup, but he doesn't keep it for long. Thankfully, manages to successfully transfer it over to Loveridge. Gets set flying after that, however, as now we are going to see Lemming taking possession of it, moving over to the other side of the arena. And only one player here so far,
Simeon's
Dash, able to successfully defend it.
I've been watching Simeon. He actually punched both players there so they couldn't daisy chain off each other. Powder comes in with the slam dunk. Even though Powder did score that, Simeon MVP of that round right there. Those double punches allowed them to slowly get across the arena without being caught.
See, it looks like one of our players is having an issue with their setup really quickly, so we're probably going to pause the game real fast. I'm imagining that that will count as it was still live play, so at the moment we're looking at a 6-0 lead for Eclipse, more than likely.
Yeah, well done. And again, that's kind of what we expect to see out of the Eclipse boys. You can see on your screen, Simeon on the left-hand side, being the big man for the team. He's been doing a fantastic job over the course of these 2 days. And keep in mind, he's also the newest member of the team, so he's also justifying, you know, his existence with these other two champions on the roster. iShiny, who previously was there in the last season finals, ended up taking a step back, but does offer them some coaching advice. And I did hear will be at Oculus Connect 5 if they do qualify.
All right, well, that'll be cool to see, of course. But Simeon's still doing a great job of proving himself here as the new addition to the team, and very much, at least the match that we did see on stream from them yesterday, very much proving himself to be the all-star for the team as well, having some great individual plays. And we're looking to see if that will carry over once again into this match, and if they manage to take this one, hopefully the grand finals for them as well.
And I guess we can maybe take this moment to maybe talk about some other teams, because in the lower bracket we still have Aftershock and Blast to play. And Aftershock has been this kind of beast of a European team that has like hit or miss results sometimes, but they've been in the finals of the stage finals both times now. Lost to Blast in the second one, lost to Gravity in the first one. And this is a team that kind of, I think as well, hasn't been like super challenged. You know, with Maddie, Tutorabot, and Slin there, we've seen some amazing stuff out of them.
It's going to be very cool to see those two go up against each other as well, because that is the previous Jax roster, if I'm remembering correctly. So that's going to be Slin on Aftershock looking to get revenge against his two other teammates now on Team Blast, and that'll certainly be a vindicating victory for him if he is able to achieve it and push on into the next stage of the event.
And what's weird is, even though we've seen, you know, a lot of the teams over the course of this last 2 days play well, and obviously, you know, one team has to win, I feel like Blast has been almost the most enjoyable to watch at some aspects of it. Not because of maybe like, you know, seeing Simeon, you know, get so excited, but their play looks so beautiful, and it's just so fast.
Yeah.
They just seem to always know what everyone's thinking on their team, and yeah, they're in the loser bracket at the moment, but I've enjoyed watching them the best.
Especially when we've seen the regrab combo used pretty heavily, like in one of our last matches yesterday. That was so powerful that they were able to use it in the first and second rounds. It kind of fell off a little bit once we got into the third round there, and that was the comeback from Gravity once again that almost happened there as well.
Yeah.
So we saw that taper off a little bit at the beginning of the match. That was just scoring goal after goal after goal again, and it seemed to be nothing that Gravity could do to keep up with that.
I think they were up by, what was it, like 11-2 at one point or something like that?
I think that was almost the score for the first game.
Yeah, I think it was like 11-2, and then like they came back with like 10 unanswered points or something, or 11 unanswered points themselves. It was insane to see something like that happen, especially because MetaMerc scored first in that round. Looks like the technical issues maybe have been sorted out, so we should be getting back in a few minutes. But Blue, we didn't even get to talk about predictions in this match. Are you personally leaning one, you know, ignore the score, ignore the 6-0, don't look at the bottom hand side of the screen here, Blue. Ignoring that factor, what's your feelings coming into this?
I still feel like, especially based on what I was told by some of the players from Scrims earlier today as well, I still feel like this is a match that Eclipse is going to take quite handily in 2-0 fashion.
Do you think there's any team, I mean, I actually agree. Let me just get that out there first.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, if any team we've seen so far has had the potential to really challenge out against this, I personally would love to see Blast against Eclipse. We didn't get to see that, unfortunately, since Blast did lose in the upper bracket to 11.5 and got knocked down. But that's a match I think could be one of the most exciting of the entire tournament.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see if that ends up working out that way. So once again, we do have players looking like they are almost ready to go here. I think we've got everyone back in game. It's just testing the setups now. It was the player on the back left side, on the orange side of the arena that was having
watching Powder do some tilt brush back there.
yeah.
Did some Beat Saber in the meantime. No, they were waiting for the time just to recalculate all the scores correctly. So we are back into this one, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our winner bracket final. Winner goes on to play in the grand final with a series advantage. A loser will have to play at least one more match in the hopes of getting back there yet again. $6,000 on the line for that first place. And Blue, 11.5 having a lot of work to go.
Absolutely. Especially if they do manage to drop this match, they're going to have to look to quickly recover in time for the lower bracket final against either Aftershock or Blast, pending the result of that matchup later on. But here we go, the launch coming out. 11.5 will take possession, and it's going to be Lemming looking and trying to intercept initially, but he cannot get the pressure on, so a successful pass is thrown over to Leverage. Transfer to Wit. Wit's got himself the 1v1, but he's low on time. Tries to go directly inside, and while we do see Simeon catching it, he was still floating, ends up floating himself right into his own goal there, and it'll give 11.52 points.
Just seems like Simeon's trying to, be nice to them, because that happened the exact same way where he hit Wit, and Wit ended up allowing the disc to go through the goal. So that's going to be 6-2. Still, that's some breath of life we wanted to see in the camp of 11.5. We wanted to see them start to really ramp up here and start to claw their way into this game. That's the first way to do it, but again, Eclipse now with possession. They need to put up a good defense here, and they need to still score a couple more points.
Really?
Not only just to catch up, but just to get some personal morale going.
Yeah, really quick transfers that we saw there as well from Eclipse, so from 11.5. And we can see that once again right here. The passes are coming out this time from Eclipse, so that's going to be the issue. And they've already got Simeon on the right side. Just got to bounce back real quick, throws it in, and that will be a three-pointer as well this time for Eclipse.
Did Simeon just say, "This is my home"? I swear I heard him scream that from here.
We'll probably get to see it here. I think that's him on the camera.
Again, like, this just can't happen. So we see that Simeon went into the back lines uncontested. The same thing happened before. I believe it was with Wit. But we had Simeon go back to actually spot that out, to actually see him go in that direction, to back away to pull off some sort of a challenge. Obviously, it didn't really work out, but they denied the three-pointer, most importantly in that situation. Now 9-2, down by 7, 11.5, gonna have possession again, but there's still 3 minutes to go, and honestly, in our Echo Arena, that can be a lifetime.
Absolutely, especially if we have a lot of goals happening here, because that's gonna add a lot of downtime in between the match here. It's gonna be a little bit of a brawl between Simeon and Wit, both of which were trying to receive a pass at this point. Palador attempts to sneak away, but Lemming will get it instead. Missed pass, though. It is set a little bit wild. I think it was expecting Palador to be floating a little bit more upwards to be ready to take that, so it does send it scrambling. Lemming successfully retrieves it and gets the pass back to Simeon, though, so now they can try to set up once again.
This is where it gets dangerous. Most of the points we've seen Eclipse score have been on breakaways. Now they're going to go for potentially a set play here. Simeon going to continue to carry the disc on the high ground, trying to lure in Loveridge, and it's just going to back away as well, looking for a potential punch. Throwing it back out to Palador to act as the QB. Kind of be the puppet master for his team to set them in the right position to allow the score to go through. And in the meantime, they're delaying for so much time here.
I mean, it's all just still them trying to set up for a goal here. They're just waiting for a pass opportunity since Palador isn't really presented with one right now. Wit finally gets tired of waiting, though, puts the pressure on, but that opens up an opportunity. Almost a three-pointer there for Lemming as well. Just a little bit off the mark, but that will give another clear up over here to 11.5. So they're going to send it back through mid. A race, though, will very much, though, so seemingly it was going to go into the hands of Eclipse, but they weren't ready for the disc to bounce that way. Thankfully, they still get it, and they should be able to take it at least back to the middle of the map now.
I just love how much they're slowing down the pace of the game because they know they have such a big lead that 11.5 are going to have to be aggressive. They cannot sit back and wait for the shot. They have to get in their faces, and when you do that, you can make mistakes. And Eclipse is a team that will punish you every single time you make one of those.
Simeon's got to pick up a little self-pass just to get away from Dash a little bit here. Dash player we haven't seen a lot of just yet here, but he's going to try to make a play himself, moves in, successfully gets the punch off, but there is a mini pass thrown over to Palador in the meantime, and he successfully retrieves it. Now another transfer going back over to Lemming as he's going to try to secure it. He will move in for the 1v1 against the goalie, but it's a miss. Sends it flying out into the open once again.
Keep in mind, we've always actually been going for 2 minutes in this volley, and Eclipse has had it for, I'd say, 2 minutes of time pretty much, and they're still delaying. 11.5, you have 1 minute and 10 remaining. You have to get aggressive here. You see Dash trying to push out the one who typically has been coined as one of the best defenders in North America. And look at this, the goal's completely open, and that's an easy three-pointer by Palador. I want to be fair here, though, to 11.5 Blue. I'm trying to say this the entire time. They have to make a move. They're the ones that have to get aggressive and push out, and that's just what's going to happen if you can't catch up to them in time. You cannot, talk bad about them at all because they knew they had to do something like that.
They come to a realization that, okay, they're just wasting time with us getting in their way.
Look at that possession.
Yeah, 77% going over to Eclipse right now. Normally it's the other way around just because 11.5 would have been spawning with possession for so long, but they've been forced to toss the disc so often they haven't really been able to rack up a whole lot of possession time. And in that last instance there, they basically had to get the goalie out so they could try to have one-man coverage on every single player for Eclipse, but they just couldn't keep up with them. Eclipse have such better movement right now, so they're outclassing them in that respect.
Well, now Loveridge able to get a chance here for a potential shot. I'm going to pass that over to Wit now. Playing from these islands, going to throw it up towards the right-hand side, but unfortunately there's no one going to be there. Now Powder picks up the disc, throws it away for the clear. Now the punching is going to be coming in, trying to daisy chain back into this one. Looks like it will be rescued by 11.5, but the time is just taken away, Blue.
Yeah, less than 30 seconds almost here in a moment here now, and Eclipse still have a 10-point lead. That's going to be at least 3 or 4 goals that we need to see 11.5 score, and it's really just not physically possible at this point, so it's nearly a safe call to say Eclipse will be taking the first round and will go up 1-0 in the series.
The thing is, I guess we can kind of take a step back and look at the entirety of how the game did go. This isn't the first time that Eclipse has allowed Simeon. I don't know how he does it, but he's always able to penetrate the back line without out being spotted, without drawing attention to himself. Yeah, 11.5 is going to score, 7 seconds left, it's not going to matter. But he seems to always be able to do this. And I don't know how teams haven't been able to spot it a little bit quicker or notice it. Like, hey, we only see 2 people. There has to be a third, and it's probably going to be Simeon in our backside.
It's a very sneaky player in general, probably one of the sneakiest we've seen in the entire tournament. That probably is a large part of the reason as to why this team picked him up, as he's a very, very versatile player, but can also do things like aggression very well as we've seen throughout the course of these series here. So yeah, 7 seconds left. We'll have the launch come out, but sadly it's not really going to mean much. Even with the 3-pointer, that's only going to put them up at 7, and they need 5 more in the next 2 seconds from that point.
Oh, are they going for the shot? Are they going for it? Oh, he missed the pass.
Yeah, it's going to be a missed pass. That'll kill it. But Eclipse will take the first round now with a 12-4 scoreline. They now lead 1-0 and are one more away from the grand finals with a series advantage as well.
Again, look at the stuns out of Eclipse here. I think this is one of the few teams we've seen that are so equal when it comes to stuns across the entire team. Usually we see like a bruiser kind of show himself by having, 5, 10, potentially more hits. But this team likes to punch and like to punch a lot. And I feel like they all are really fluid in the roles they can play. Like we see, Palador can be the one to get aggressive and go for a three-pointer. Simian can do that. We know that everyone on the team is able to pull off something like that. And that fluidity within their own composition allows them to play these like adverse styles. And the problem to that is that no one's been able to push them past what we've seen at face value so far. No one's been able to really have a really close game against them to make them show strats they might be hiding or show some things they've been working on.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to force that out of them for the most part here. Eclipse, like we said before, just the movement advantage that they had throughout the middle of that series when they wasted a good 2 to 3 minutes off of a single volley. Really just made it too easy for Eclipse to be able to take it with such a massive scoreline advantage. They had a very casual time of running in that last minute and a half or so after we did finally see 11.5 scoring again there.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be our second matchup between these two teams. It's only a best of 3, so if Eclipse take this, they're through the grand finals, and not to mention through to a lot more money in their pockets. Lemming, the pass is going to be just behind him, but it will bounce in his favor off the island. And again, slowing the pace down, trying to look for the shots. Again, trying to force 11.5 to come to them. That's a fantastic juke by Lemming. That's got to feel good. And Eclipse, again, score the first.
So many players from 11.5 ready to defend that too, but sadly their goalie just not able to keep up with a move like that. And we'll get this once again from the replay perspective here as we'll see Lemming does a very, very nice juke, as you mentioned. Oh. Swings over to the right just when the other defender charges him, and there's enough of a hole in the goal there for him to be able to score and secure. It's not a three-pointer, but it does give them an opening 2-point advantage once again. And
keeps the pressure on 11.5, who have been on the back foot this entire series so far. Let's see if they can do something about this again. I do love how we've seen some adaptation of 11.5. Whenever Dash does get the disc in the beginning, we've seen whenever he gets challenged out, sometimes, leverage will help him out. Get a nice little punch, which we just saw into Lemming. Give him some more freedom, allow him to be a lot safer with the disc. And he goes for a very long throw. Problem is, no one's going to be there to really pick that up. And now, again, Eclipse, who have had the possession for an extremely long time in the first round, will have it again.
Same with a very nice clear, though. Look, it might even make it inside of the bubble, but it'll bank the other direction here. Gives control to Wit for the time being, as he's going to try to get rid of it. But Eclipse are still going to want to keep the pressure on. A 2-point lead is not safe in any respect here, especially with 11.5 responding quickly back in the first round there. They are going to look to want to do it for a second time in this round. They're going to have some trouble getting it past the midpoint, though, as they're hugging the floor right now. It doesn't give them a whole lot of clearance room, sadly, but they find an opportunity. They're going to be able to get it back over and into the hands of Dash, but as you can see, Dash is pretty much completely surrounded right now, so that won't prove to be too easy.
Yeah, it won't be easy at all here. Let's see what's going to happen as, again, the disc is moving forward. There's no one there to block it. The 3-point comes in, and Lemming, he's the one to be the big scorer for the team now. Again, just showing how anyone on Eclipse can step up on any given day. And as the saying goes, it's any given Sunday right now.
Opportunity being opened up to him right here. And as you can see, he just floats right in. Dash tries to beat him to the punch, but will not work out. As we do see the pickup once again from Eclipse to put them ahead 5-0 over 11.5 here. Still a lot of time left, though, for 11.5 to get back into this game, but they need to try and find a way to counter out Eclipse right now, especially in the early game, right after the launch as well, because they're almost immediately stopping them from getting any sort of pass going. We could see a great example of that once more. Dash is kind of going to be stuck back here. Not a whole lot of open opportunities to pass to a teammate. He gets it over to Leverage, but he's been surrounded. They'll move in, punch out Dash as well, who is going to get a pass to him in just a second here. So it's just a loose disc.
Oh, actually, this should be at least a 2-pointer for them. Lemming trying to get in there. Leverage not able to get the shot off. And I almost could have sworn that was going to be at least 2 points guaranteed, but they get the clear, they get the defense. Now they're going for the punches. The entire team is brawling. Lemming going to be by himself. It's going to be chased down by Wit and Leverage. They come in, they get the stun, they get the steal. They're still not able to get the shot off, though, Blue.
Leverage going to get a nice pass over to Dash here. Another opportunity might be opened up. He just want to go in on it by himself, though. He's waiting for another pass-back opportunity over to Wit, who's still floating on the top side of the arena. Look at how quickly Simian's getting back and forth between these guys. Dash will get stunned out by Lemming, and that's a clear way back past the midfoot. We've got a race going now here, but it looks like 11.5 is going to be able to win it, which should mean a successful defense.
Yeah, they should. Oh, he actually just gets the disc cleared. But again, Powder's going to be there. They're going to get the pickup. There's going to be a man in the goal, but they can slow things down again. They can just dwindle this time away. They're up by 5. Again, as you said before, it's not safety, really, as we saw with Blast and Gravity. but it is safety nonetheless, and they're playing their own game, and they're forcing 11.5 to get out of their own comfort zone and be extra aggressive.
Yeah, at this point in the timer, Eclipse need like 10 or more points to feel really safe in their position, so they still have to fight. They're still going to have to bust up maybe some new strategies here if they want to try to secure extra points. Very close to a long-range three-pointer there, just sounding a little bit too low.
And you saw, like, everyone 11.5, they left the goal, even Dash went for the challenge on that shot. There was very real potential that he was going to make that too, so you have to be so careful, but they realize they have to turn this aggression on, or Eclipse will just bait away all of this time. They're still maintaining control of the just somehow, even with all three players for 11.5 getting aggressive, maybe look for the slam dunk, and it comes in, and Lemming again. This man, he's got all the points on his side, 7-0.
Even with Witt getting right into his face there at the end as well. That's not an easy angle to hit. You can see he's going to be curving down. He's basically directly above the goal. So we had a very small window of opportunity to actually score this here, but still manages to get it done. Very nicely done by the Eclipse squad, certainly showing as to why they are the #1 team right now.
Hands down. And the thing is, I love the mastery of their play too. And I know I said this like 1,000 times already, but I'm going to keep saying it again. The fact that they know they don't have to play fast and aggressive, they don't have to keep scoring against you, they can play slow. They know that time is on their side. You're going to have to come to them, and they can bait that out against you and make you force mistakes. This is going to be a good potential shot coming in. That will be nice by Witt. Does get 3 points on the board and gets them into the game. But not fully back. It's taken them almost 3 minutes of time to do just that.
We can hear as the crowd's cheering. They want an upset here. They want to see 11.5 being able to take the victory and finally knock Eclipse down to the lower bracket for once in a while here.
There we go. Let's see possession. Not much of a difference between the two teams, though it's felt like a complete difference.
Stuns are relatively close as well. 11.5's got a little bit of an edge in that respect, but it's nothing remarkable. Launch will come back out. Remember that Eclipse will start out with it this time. We'll see how good 11.5 are going to be on the initial offensive strike.
Look at
Simeon, yep, already has snuck through, but they do have someone on him at least this time. They've realized he's going to be too much of a thorn in their side to just leave alone back there if someone gets a clear towards him. So they kept Witt on him, at least temporarily.
Oh, yeah, they're more playing like man-to-man now. Witt going to be sitting back at the goal. Dash trying to come in from the side. Still looking for the shot. Here's going to be Simeon, and he gets on the low-hand side. Eclipse, can anyone out there stop them at this rate?
The angle worked out well for him there too. I'd have to see it once more from the real life perspective, but I don't think he actually jumped to be able to do that because it was upside down. You can see right here, right before he scores, there's a little juke down below, and I think that was a jump to be able to pull that off. It's a nice use of the mechanics in game right there to be able to secure another one for Eclipse.
Yeah, really well done by this team. I'm really wondering what team out there can potentially stop them because they're still looking so overwhelming. They're forcing 11.5 to play like man-to-man defense. I know that's like a sports term, but they're forcing everyone to stick to stick to someone at least. Simeon's not able to get as free in the back line as he wants to, but the fact that Witt has to play so far back towards his goal means now Eclipse now have a 3-on-2 against the defenders.
Witt's going to get it tossed away from him, but it is over to a teammate. Dash going to move in. There's a great opportunity presented, but a missed pass sends it scrambling into the open once again. Ruins a great opportunity for 11.5 to secure another 2-pointer here, but Dash will successfully retrieve it. So chances aren't done here just yet.
Yeah, Simeon the one sitting inside the goal at the moment. Dash. We're going to push him. He gets pressured already off the bat. Nice little pass back from Witt here. Going for the shot. Oh, that was fantastic little disc work there. But it unfortunately does hit the rim. The punching's coming out. It's a 5-clip at the bottom side of the arena. And the slam dunk might be able to come in. But again, the defense is there. Eclipse are not letting this go at all. Time is getting slim here with 38 seconds left.
That's going to be frustrating for 11.5. So many opportunities presented but denied in every one of those ops by Eclipse. Eclipse will miss one of their own, however, as it seemed like there was an open shot for Simeon. He'll get another chance at it here in a moment as they're going to try to set themselves up.
Stalling.
Yeah, pretty much 30 seconds left. Might as well waste that time. Make sure they have this fully secured, which they pretty much do. Unfortunately for the 11.5 fans out there, it's not looking like it's going to happen, at least not in this instance. But we will have to see. We still have these last few moments left. And yeah, again, Eclipse, so you can see bouncing back and forth. They know they've got it at this point, especially with it's going under 10 seconds. Eclipse, ladies and gentlemen, will be moving on into the grand finals of the Invitational. And for 11.5, it's not going to be done just yet, but they now have to fight to come back in the grand finals in the lower bracket.
And, you know, Blue, I know people out there are going to be looking at this like, Eclipse, come on, why don't you go for shots? Why are you delaying? I don't care what they say because when money's on the line like it is...
Careful. Just don't knock over the towers.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have to play here still, guys. It's not over just yet. But when money's on the line, you play smart. You play to win.
Yeah.
And that's what Eclipse did. It's not necessarily like the greatest thing to watch because it's not as exciting, but it shows their mastery of the game and the mastery of the situation at hand.
very much so. And again, just that movement that we were seeing, even at the end there with players bouncing around. It's really cool when we get to see players that are able to be so ambidextrous as well, while they're holding the disc in one hand, but still have the situational awareness to, say, for instance, use the controller behind them to kind of bounce off of the islands back and forth. And we were seeing that used quite a bit there to juggle around the 11.5 roster.
Not only do you have to be careful when it comes to being physical in the game, you have to be careful when it comes to the celebrations when you've got Simeon on your side as well. Oh my god, that was raucous to say the least, but a 2-0 and pretty clean cut 2-0 to be fair.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what we predicted coming into this. Again, the thing is, like, we're talking, you know, very highly of Eclipse. We've not necessarily bashed 11.5, but we did say, you know, during the cast that this is a team that if they get a second chance against them, I don't think we're going to see a clean 2-0 like that ever again when in the grand finals if that does happen.
It felt like there were adaptations. As you said, they were marking their man, you know, Simeon down towards the back. They were trying to kind of deal with him when he would kind of go rogue, go a little bit further down to the back. Yep. And also even equalizing, going upside down to be able to kind of just respond to any kind of undershot if he was going to try and go under your legs. Obviously, being spun around, it's a little bit easier to kind of reach to that position.
It seems like overall they've got a better lock on their strategy. Now the problem is they can't necessarily focus completely on how to counter that just yet, because they still have to worry about the lower bracket finals match as well. So they're going to have to watch how their opponents play, still have to win that match, and then they have to try and refocus on, okay, how do we counter out these issues that we ran into here in the upper bracket finals?
All right, well, let's head down to the stage now as we have the winners moving on to the grand final.
Thank you. We are joined here by Lemming, team captain of Eclipse, the undefeated. They 2-0'd everyone. How does it feel right now to have made it all the way down without any contest?
It feels pretty good. I feel like as long as we're playing our game, nobody can touch us.
You've been telling us offline plenty much about this game, about how you're going zen, you know, trying to keep your guys charged up, but play a game, play with respect. And I've noticed you did that. But, I mean, just so many scores, so many stops. Palador stopping that amazing goal, right? You didn't think that was going to happen, and then he was like, that's unblockable, and he stopped it. How? And you normally don't get to see Palador do that in the goal. Palador, is he really on fire this time along with the rest of your team?
Oh, he's on fire every match. Palador is the most consistent, the most reliable member of our team, and every time you think something's not possible, he proves you wrong. It's so incredible playing with Palador. I love that guy.
Now, we did talk a little bit before the cameras came up that he said that was pretty much how you see 11.5. Y'all were just even more on fire. They've got a couple rookies when it comes to LAN, so hopefully we'll see something more for them in OC5. But who do you think you're going to see next? Who of the teams remaining, Blast, 11.5, Aftershock, who will you see again? Because it is double elimination.
Honestly, I think we're going to be seeing 11.5 again in the grand finals. I feel like they understand the game almost as well as we do. I feel like they're the only guys that are real competition, and I think they've proven that, you know, they've knocked everybody they've played down to the losers bracket. Anybody they play, they're already capable of beating, and yeah, I expect to see those guys.
Well, thank you, Lemming. That is exactly the kind of information we expect from our elite players, the unstoppable Eclipse. Hopefully someone can give you a little bit more trouble coming up in the grand finals, but until then, we're going to send it back to James at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much. That is the big question. Who can deal with these tyrants that are Eclipse at the moment?
Let's go.
What, us three?
Us three. Let's do this.
I don't
Calling
think so.
you out, Lemming.
No.
There's no way we win. There's no way.
We just have to figure out how to get on the launch tube first.
You know, you guys play, I'll take my headset off and just, like, hit him in the knee really hard. And maybe they'll still beat us probably, actually, when they can't use their legs. Sorry.
Let it be known that we at the desk do not endorse the messages that Jason Kaplan...
Do not endorse violence.
And we also don't want to challenge Eclipse because they're really good. And this is them just kind of shredding 11.5 to the ground here in this best of 3. They made it look pretty simple. And towards the end, delay out. It causes even frustration there for 11.5 because they know they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that again comes down to like their mastery of movement right here. And we can see the delay tactics coming in with this. This was a great juke once again from Lemming as well as score. Knew there was a lot of defense set up inside of the 3-point zone and knew he had to go for some sort of a tricky move here. Does exactly that to be able to secure that one.
Like you mentioned, it's got to be so frustrating to play defense against this offensive Eclipse when they're ahead of you, because you just know, like, we can't sit here, we can't wait, or they're just going to stall for time. They're that confident in their own defense that we're going to have to be the one to make a move, and you kind of depend on teams trying to take shots against you or getting in close against the goal to steal it away for them, to get the punch off, to get the disc, and then the clear, and then hopefully transition into a score yourself. But Eclipse don't let that happen. They don't let you get comfortable. They don't let you play in your safe space. And because of that, you have to be willing to change things up, which I will give credit to 11.5. I'm happy to see that they did switch up to like a man-to-man at some point to not allow Simeon to get into the back line like that. That's their biggest enemy right there. That's the team that's going to be Eclipse themselves if they hurt themselves.
I do like Palador as well. Yeah. It's like, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm out, guys. This is all you.
That was the unsung hero of that celebration. Palador getting clean away.
Palador being the responsible one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's take a look at the bracket here to get you up to speed with everything that has gone down so far, as Eclipse makes their way into the grand final, and they will have a best of 3 in hand. So they only have to win 1 best of 3 in that grand final, whereas their challengers will have to win 2 best of 3s after that 2-0 against 11.5. Moving down to the lower bracket now is where our focus shifts, because our next match is going to be Aftershock going up against Blast. And need I remind you once again of the amazing series that we had with Blast going up against Gravity yesterday, and I expect to see more of Blast, similar to that.
Even the Aftershock series was relatively entertaining as well, so it's going to be cool to see them clash. I mean, it's the last 2 representations for Europe in the tournament now, so they have to fight basically to be the team that's going to be able to honor Europe going onwards into the lower bracket finals and potentially the grand finals too.
It's going to be a good match. Like, that's all I have to say. It's going to be an insane match.
It's very rare that we actually see Europe in the lower bracket as a 2 and then America in the upper bracket. Anyway, there's 2 of you. I won't make that joke. Okay, so...
You're saying it's weird to see Europe win something?
No. It's weird to see America doing well in something. Anyway, thank you to Intel. No. Big thank you to Intel here as we get everything going for the VR League overall. And we're going to go to a short break here, and Jason can scold me in the break. And when we are back, we will have more Echo Arena action. Don't go anywhere.